But anyway, just an introduction. Clubber, some of you might know it through the streaming. So we do Clubber TV and Clubber Analysis. Just a bit about myself and Jimmy first. My name's Mark Ryan. I'm from Moyne Templetui in Tipperary. We're Premier Intermediate and an intermediate football club. I heard of Clubber through my own club, as Jimmy is actually a past player of Moyne Templetui, and once I heard about it, I wanted to get involved straight away. I've been working there since May. We done a lot of streaming through Clubber TV first, but then we went on to the analysis side of it, and we used ClubberCoach last season. And after 4 years of losing to the eventual winners of the county final, we finally won the elusive county final and got promoted last year with the help of ClubberCoach. And through Clubber TV streaming all the games, it kept all the supporters in the loop and got a real togetherness about it. So what is Clubber? So as I said, we do a lot of streaming. We're streaming the Junior B All-Ireland Championship at the minute, and then we have ClubberCoach, which is the automated match analysis, which we're about to show for you today. So if I take you to the Clubber website, I'm going to log in as a Moyne Templetui coach. So when you log into the website straight away, you're logged in to Clubber TV, and this is where you'll see all the games. This was the Junior B Leinster final, which we streamed last weekend, and all the rest of the games are down below. But this site, or this profile as ClubberCoach, which gives you exclusive access to this here, which is ClubberCoach, which is the match analysis. We had seen football intermediate hurling last year. I'll go into the hurling side of it. Our last game of the year, we unfortunately lost to Kilmoyley in the Munster semi-final, and that's the first thing we'll show you. This is last year's match analysis. All of these clips are automated match analysis, so they're already, it's the magic of Clubber, and it's not seen where in any other analysis platform, is that once you submit a video or a game, all of these clips are automatically analysed for you. So once you put it into the game, after 24 hours, you get back scores, wides, puckouts, and turnovers without lifting a finger. So, for example, we go into this game against Kilmoyley, and it says the wide. I believe it's a free on Road O'Connor. So this is the second wide. All of the wides are down here below. Once that wide is gone, it moves on to the next wide automatically. It goes on to the next clip. There's Sean Hayes hitting a wide. If you wanted to see in the build-up, you go -15 and press play. You see the build-up. If you want to see the aftermath of it, you press +15 and it'll give you the extra bit there. If you wanted to share the clip then, for example, if you wanted to send it to, for example, if we use an example, if I took that free and I wanted to say to Mark Ryan, improve your shooting, and say improve, that's sent to my profile now. I am logged in. This is the manager account. I'm logged in as a player account, and I get that in this shared clip side. Another great feature of this is that whatever about the scores, wides, puckouts, and turnovers, you can also create your own clips. So once you say pick yourself, it brings you to this tab, and this will load up the whole game. So for example, if you thought of something like poor concentration, you go to custom tag and you write poor concentration. And now if I'm going to decide that this is where poor concentration happens, I click here, poor concentration, and that's where the clip ends. I press it again, and that's saved now in this clip here. So now we have puck out, scores, wide turnovers, and poor concentration. Maybe later in the game, we see poor concentration again. I click on it. And there's a wide ball. Then we see poor concentration again, and you stop it. Go back to the first tab, press refresh, and there straight away is poor concentration. You go into it, and this is the exact clip that we saved, so that's something that you want to pick out for. As an example, for our in our situation, we didn't win the county final first time round. We implemented this system where we had a 2-man full forward line. We put a lot of emphasis on long balls into the full forward line. And the year before, there was a lot of arguments. The backs would be saying that they were giving good balls in, the forwards weren't making the runs. The forwards were saying that they were making good runs, but they weren't getting the right delivery. So as simple as, this was our first round of championship. And again, you see puck out scores, wides and turnovers. But this was a game that we used a lot of match analysis on. And one of them was good long balls and bad long balls. So here's an example of a good long ball in the first half. Conor Bowe picks up the ball. And he picks out Jim Folkley inside. And there's an example of a good long ball. And then if we go back out to it, there's an example of a bad long ball. Ossie Hamill, ball inside, absolutely no one. So it kind of stops the argument. No one can give any excuses. It's just tangible evidence there, and it worked out for us. We ended up winning the mid-final and the county final through it. When you're creating your team, you go into this. So like I said, these are all the coaches. There was Liam England who trained us this year. And then you add all the players. So the players just give you their emails, and then they all have accounts. So they all have their login through their own emails. They have access to this as well. They can receive clips from coaches. And for example, the same again, if you were a forward and you had a bad long ball and you wanted to say back to your coach, I don't think this is good enough. So I can... So as like I can send a player there, the player will have an option, will be choose coach, and the coach will be up there and they can send it back. You can't send messages from player to player. It's only player to coach, and the coach then can send it to players. And then, for example, if you wanted to send it to maybe the entire team, if you had work rate and you wanted to send, this clip and that clip, you press done. Sorry. You press done. And then you want to send it. You have two examples. You can send it to the entire team, or a more advanced setting is sending it to leaders. So if we go back to the players there was a leader section, and that'll be something that Jimmy will allude to there. So that's basically all of the analysis from last year. But we've had major improvements on the system since, which Jimmy can take you through there now.
Great, thanks very much, Mark. So let me just get myself up on screen here. So just before I get in and talk about the new features, I just wanted to touch on what we're trying to do as a company overall. And so one second. So one of the key things that we're trying to do with this overall system that we're building. So we're talking today about ClubberCoach, but obviously we have the whole streaming side of the platform as well, which makes up the overall system that we're trying to create. And we're all about trying to make it simple and affordable for clubs to have access to video analysis. So that means that, you know, every women's club, men's club, schools, colleges, whatever, if we can do our job right, using the software capabilities here, we can make this all cheaper and easier for clubs to use it. And the whole idea behind this is that, you know, we want to, when we went out and talked to a number of clubs this year as part of our analysis last year, one of the key things we heard back from a number of clubs was, well, look, yeah, getting the software is all great, but we also have to put a lot of cost into cameras and people to run the cameras. And so what we're trying to say is that if we can work with county boards, you know, all the video companies out there today who are streaming lots of games, and all the people who are streaming on Facebook and YouTube, etc., if we can try and get all of those people onto use our platform, they continue to do everything that they do today, except just using our platform rather than off-the-shelf platform. That means that the club or the school or whoever has access to the game right away, and they don't have to video it themselves. So that's the first thing that we're hoping that we can do to really make this more affordable and accessible to all clubs. And then once we have it on the platform, without the club having to do anything, it automatically gets run through our software, and then you have your analysis that Mark showed now, and then I'm going to talk about some of the new things that are coming. So that's kind of just a little bit about what we're trying to achieve as a company overall. So now I want to start off by talking about one of the features that Mark just touched on a second ago, which is, so he showed you how to send to all players. Then we have this other advanced scenario, which is send to leaders. This is something that was, I suppose, born out of a bit of work I did with Tipperary back in 2014-15. And it was really about trying to empower players and bring players really, you know, create more of a responsibility environment. And that was something that was the genesis of a lot of the thinking behind this send to leaders and this overall analysis part that we came up with. So the just simple idea here is that, if I can get in here. So again, going back to, you saw here where Mark has showed you all of this, and then you see that there's an area here you can invite leaders. So you can imagine you can create, you know, whatever, 5 or 6 player leaders here that become like a semi-leadership group within your team, and you can rotate this throughout the year as you want to. And then as you go into games, you just select clips like Mark has done. I think I've selected already a bunch of clips. You just click on send around and send them to all the players. You send it to the leaders. What happens there is that those clips just get sent to whoever you had identified in that leadership group. And this is just a test group we have set up here so I can show you a little bit. So this is me signing in as one of those leaders right now. Let me just see. Probably after getting logged out because it was left there for too long. There we go. So when I log in as a leader now, you can see that I got these bunch of clips that were sent to me by the coach. So if I go in, you can see that I have this very simple interface here where I just go thumbs up or thumbs down on that particular clip, and I can add in a comment. There's some pre-canned comments here. You can type in your own comment. So again, within a couple of minutes, a player can get in through, you know, a bunch of clips and send feedback back to the main coach from their mobile phone in, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. But it's a really simple and effective tool for players to be able to interact with coaches in the context of the actual video clip of the game, which makes it, you know, much less subjective, easier to have that conversation, less tension. But then again, you're empowering the players to take more control and give their opinions on what they think they want or don't want. And then you can imagine you can have 4 or 5 players sending this feedback back. The tool allows you then for the coach to just look at a summary view of all this feedback back from these leaders. And we believe that could be a great way to simplify, I suppose, alignment on strategies within players and management in a team. So that's just this leaders capability that's there right now for anybody to use that we just wanted to talk about. So now, as we move on, I want to talk a little bit about some of the new features. So one of the really exciting features we've got, obviously, in the product is this whole automated system. And the big thing that now we're moving to is we're adding more automation events in the overall stack. So what Mark showed you already was scores, wides, turnovers, and puckouts. Now we're taking that to the next level, which is you can see all of your team scores and all of the opposition scores. You see your kickouts or puckouts, and then the ones that were won by your team are won by the opposition. And the same for their puckouts or kickouts, what you won and lost from them. And then that we convert that into a very simple graph up above, or a little chart that shows you, this is all dummy data that I'm using right now, but you get the idea in terms of here's all the kickout scores, wides, and then you can see percentages of possession that you had versus the opposition and how well you executed on that possession and how many opportunities you created. So that's all automated, as I said, 24 hours after the game is over. Either you uploaded it, or if it was streamed, you do nothing and it's there 24 hours later. If you went in and uploaded it, it will be there 24 hours after you've uploaded it. And the way we do this is we have this artificial intelligence layer using computer vision that analyzes all of the video clips, all of the games, and it's able to understand these events because we've been training it obviously for the last year or more. And we're at about 60%, 70% accuracy right now. And we then send those through to a crowdsourcing company that double checks what the machine has outputted, so that in effect, we have 100% accuracy when it comes back to you 24 hours later. So we believe this can be a big time saver for people who are either starting out doing analysis, or obviously there's a bunch of teams and video analysts out there already who are well versed at doing analysis, but we hope that this can be something that saves them a lot of time from, you know, all of those manual tasks that they need to do to create these basic events, and then they can use our platform to move more into insights for teams rather than doing analysis. And obviously they can generate their own clips also. So that's the first capability. That it's almost complete. We're just doing final testing on it at the moment, and we expect to have it released into production by the end of this month or early April. So that's the first big new addition that's coming very soon. The next thing I wanted to touch on is this new editor that we're working on. So the whole idea with the new editor is that we really want to make it simpler and easier for people to create those additional events or find events that are already created and move into, you know, adding comments and sharing it around. And we also want to enable coaches and analysts, etc., to just be able to do simple drawings on these clips and be able to share that with their team, with their coaches, with players, or player themselves will have access to come in here, create these clips, and maybe tell a story back to their coach because there's some misalignment there in terms of what the expectations are. So again, this is something that we're a bit more work to be done on this. We hope to have it ready in the summer timeframe, and we again think that this can be a big enhancement for all of our coaches out there. And now, the last thing I just wanted to touch on, and again, it's more R&D right now, but we're delighted to have Glen Rovers signed up with us this year. And as part of their plans for the year, they've actually invested in a number of cameras. And so one of the cameras that they're going to have at their games is going to be a wide angle camera, which means that they will have a shot of the pitch for the entirety of the game, the whole pitch. So that leads us to some really interesting opportunities with the technologies that we have, because when you can have access to the whole pitch 100% of the time, you can track a player all of the time through a game. And so we think we'll be able to do interesting things like, you know, this is already just prototyping stuff that we have in play right now. But again, when you have the whole pitch here, we can understand, you know, some of the speeds that players are going at, what directions are you know, more intensity levels at different periods of the game. You can see individual clips of every player throughout the game. And also you can look at distances covered and the like. So we think there's a lot of opportunity for interesting analysis and insights that can be drawn, again, all fully automated for coaching staff and players right after the game. So we're really looking forward to getting involved with the Glen and other clubs who will potentially have similar capabilities, that we can start to evolve that capability for the future. So that's really, I suppose, the three key things I wanted to talk about that are coming soon, or pretty soon down the line in 2022. So last but not least, obviously, the key question I'm sure on lots of people's lips is, so tell me, how much is this thing going to cost me? So again, we're trying to you know, do our best to make it as affordable as possible. And so the first thing to say is that anybody who wants to try the system, you can use it for a game, and if you're not completely happy with the system, you can get your money back, no questions asked. That's a guarantee from the company. And so we have a fixed term license for the duration of the season. And again, that can be for as many teams in your club as you want, for $899. And that goes to underage teams, football, ladies, men's if they're joined, etc. And then there's just an extra cost of €30 per game for some of the automation clips that we have. So that's kind of the package for the season. And again, we're offering this early bird package right now for anybody who signs up before the end of this month, end of March, rather than €30 per game on top, it would just be €20 on top per game for the entire season. So that's, I guess, brings to a close what we wanted to share today. If you're interested in learning more, please send a mail to mark@clubbertv.com or sales@clubbertv.com, and we'd love to talk to you.